met in the tight-knit Lebanese-American community in Michigan City, Indiana. Fell in love, got married, raised an amazing family. Kind of rushing through this part because, as beautiful as it is, what happens next is the amazing part. Naif, a pharmacist working 12 to 16-hour days. Janine, a full-time mom. We're at the Mayo Clinic with Janine's mom, who needed joint replacement. That's where they bumped into Carlo, an Italian man whose father had helped design Christ the Redeemer in Rio. Carlo's beautiful young wife, Roberta, was upstairs recovering from bone cancer surgery. They'd removed so much of her hip, she was in a full body cast. Cut off from her children back in Italy, speaking only broken English and facing 6 more weeks of recovery in the lifeless hospital room. Roberta was depressed. Janine said she'd go to visit her.
When she comes into the hospital room, Roberta's a little introverted, shy, and her English was very broken. But my mother, never deterred by any sort of impediment, she brushes off her high school Spanish, some Spanish words, some English words, Roberta, some Italian words, some English words. They battle out some sort of conversation. But then my mom is like, well, she is depressed. Look at this room. There's nothing going on in this room. It's quiet. Maybe As the World Turns, in English, is droning on the TV.
Janine comes back the next day to Roberta, still withdrawn. But this time, she leaves a cassette player and a tape with her favorite Neil Diamond song, Hello Again, to fill the room with something more cheerful overnight.
She says, well, even if she doesn't understand the lyrics, at least get some life in this room, get some music, get something going in this room that gives you the sense of living.
Janine returns on the 3rd day.
She comes in and Roberta turns her head to her and she looks at her and she says, hello, my friend.
Now there's no way that Janine's going to let Roberta stay in this room for the next 2 months. She tells Naif, we're taking her home to Elkhart.
I was at the University of Michigan at the time, and my dad calls me to let me know that what my mother's doing. And I said, wait, what is she doing? I was like, I got in trouble when I was 10 years old. I brought a puppy home from camp, and she's bringing a human being home from the Mayo Clinic.
But she's in a full body cast. Roberta can't bend. It's 1980 and impossible to find a wheelchair that fully reclines. So they literally carry her in and out of airports, lay her across 3 rows of seats in the airplane, get her home in Elkhart.
And when she brought her home, she couldn't get her up the stairs, so she brought in a lawn chair, that you'd lay out in, and it was in our living room. And she did everything she could to make her comfortable, but she could hardly find anything. And I think that's what gave them the idea of home health care.
She loves people. She loves to take care of people. And Roberta needed durable home medical equipment.
This is when Naif, who now owned 3 pharmacies, talked Janine into starting her own durable medical supplies company.
He always knew what to do next. The next thing to do was home medical. It just dawned on him. She would be amazing.
And Alick's Home Medical was born.
She cares about everybody, 100%. That's not made up.
My dad would really come in and out, and he would, check the books and try to make sure that the billing was getting out, things like that. There was a gentleman that had a wife that was terminally ill. She was at home with hospice. And it was summertime, and he had come in and asked my mom, do you have any air conditioners that you could rent? It's very hot, and she's really uncomfortable, and I would just like to make her more comfortable during this last time that we have. And my mom said to him, no, we don't. We only rent medical equipment that we bill insurance for. So the guy went away. Anyway, one day my dad was opening the bills in the mail, and he comes across a bill for an air conditioner that was installed. And he goes to my mom and he says, "Did you buy an air conditioner and have it installed in that man's home?" And she said, "Nave, I told him he could use it until he doesn't need it anymore." And he goes, "Well, you know when that's going to be, don't you?" And she said, "Yes, yes." And eventually the gentleman returned the air conditioner, and it ended up in the back room of the home medical, and it was sitting on a shelf. Every time my dad would walk by, he'd see it, and it would just bother him so much because to him that was money sitting on the shelf. And what are we going to do with this air conditioner now? It's just wasted money just sitting there. And we're trying to get this business going. But he also admitted later, "I couldn't get over it." The door would open and somebody would come in and they would say, "So-and-so told me to come and see you." And it was that gentleman that had asked for the air conditioner. And they got more business from word of mouth from that gentleman who told so many people. And every time my mother would look at my father and he would look at one of us and say, "Geez, how does she do it? How does she always know? She's always right."
She took it over and is really, really good at it. Really good at it.
Flash forward, and Nathan Janine's only son is working at one of the most prestigious law firms in the world.
I had a wonderful opportunity to work at a law firm in New York City, and it was a prestigious firm.
But Alick's home medical was growing fast, and the younger Nafe came home to learn how to run the business.
I remember showing up my first day, and I remember my mom, I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I remember her handing me a wire brush and a bucket of bleach and water saying, "Here you go." And I'm like, what? Yes, you got to learn how to clean wheelchairs.
It's a brand new day.
Janine would tell Nafe, "You still have a lot to learn."
I see an order that we're delivering a lift chair. I see no money on it. It says 00 on the ticket. So I say to the technician, "Steve, are you supposed to collect on this?" He said, "Well, I don't know. I'm just delivering it. I don't know if I'm supposed to collect. Doesn't say I'm supposed to collect." So I go to the supervisor customer service, "Sally, do you know if we collected for this? Are we supposed to collect for it? Because there's nothing on the ticket that tells us what we're supposed to do." She says, "Well, I don't know. I mean, your mom just told me to do the ticket." "Oh, really? Mom, did we collect for this already, or are we supposed to collect on delivery?" And she says to me, "Nafe, they really need this chair." I said, Yes, but did you collect for it already, or are we supposed to collect on delivery?" She said, "I've talked to them for a long time in my office, and this chair will really help them. So we aren't collecting for the chair?" She said, "What do you want me to do? Take food off their table?" And I said, "You didn't even collect our cost?" She said, "Nafe, you have a lot to learn."
They say that your kids are deaf to your words, but they watch what you do. Well, we were taught very well by example.
If I could be half the person that my parents are, I would be happy.
You know, she brings this magic to your everyday. She believes a lot of times by giving back, that's why she's blessed.
I think that's what makes us feel different, right? It's not just a business. It's not just how much did that cost. Back to the lift chair, it's about what did you do for your community?
Today, Alick's Home Medical has a legendary presence in this region and a lot of locations.
They have children who love them, a community, I believe, that respects them, and they have very few peers, but they have each other, which is amazing to me.
On behalf of the thousands of people all over this region who they've been so good to over the years, thank you, Nafe and Janine. May God bless you and your entire family, always.